Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Jackie Powell, and we are in first appearance court this morning. Today I have read all these probable cause affidavits. I will let you know if I've determined probable cause, and then we will talk about release conditions. Today is not your trial date, and so my advice to you is to not to talk about your case on the record because everything in this courtroom is being recorded and can be used against you at a later time. I do have in the courtroom with me an attorney from the Public Defender's Office, Mr. Brian Reedy, and I have an attorney also from the Public Defender's Office at the main jail. So if you wish to say anything about your case or anything you want to say on your behalf, my advice to you would be to speak with your attorney before speaking on the record. We also, in the courtroom, if you have a private attorney, they usually come to the courtroom, or you can let me know if you have hired a private attorney, if they know that you're here today or if they plan on showing up. I also have in the courtroom with me the state attorney's office, represented by Mr. Eric Linder this morning. I have confinement status, pretrial supervision in case anyone is released to pretrial supervision, and the clerk of the courts to maintain records. I will begin this morning with Tracy Obeid.
He's in North Broward, Your Honor.
All right, good morning, ma'am. You are before the court for one count of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. It's a domestic violence incident. I do find probable cause, and I'll hear from your party as defined.
Your Honor, the state is requesting a $10,000 bond in order of no victim contact. Ms. Obeid was arrested in the state of Illinois in 2015 for domestic violence battery and violating a no contact order. It would appear that those charges were dropped.
Yeah, she's been the victim of domestic violence on a number of occasions, Judge.
Objection, Your Honor.
Overruled.
What?
Excuse me?
What's okay?
I'm going to be asking the court to consider
Right,
pretrial
gentlemen.
release for Ms. Obeid.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Yes?
Mr. Reedy, stop.
All right. I'm going to be asking for pretrial release for her, Judge. She has had a tumultuous relationship with her husband. They've been married for quite a number of years. They have 4 children together. She has no problem not having any contact with him, but I don't think that she's going to be able to post a monetary bond. So I would ask this court to consider releasing her on pretrial release with a special condition that she not have any contact with her husband. And that's basically what I'm requesting.
All right. This is not a good way for us to start off a Monday morning. So let's just stick to the facts and let's try to maintain courtroom decorum. I am going to impose a bond of $10,000, no victim contact, until further order of the court.
I'll call your dad for you, Tracy, okay?
Karina Bosselman.
She's also North Broward, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you are before the court. Count 1 is DUI, alcohol or drugs. Count 2 is DUI with a breath level over .15. Count 3 is driving without lights. Count 4 is disobeying or avoiding traffic device. Count 5 is possession of open container. And I do find probable cause. Counts 3 through 5 are not for magistrate. So I find probable causes to DUI counts.
Judge, I'm concerned that Ms. Bosselman will not be able to post the $1,500 bond. From my understanding, from what she tells me, she's never been arrested before. I would ask the court to consider releasing her to pretrial release. She has been living here in Florida for 21 years. She does have a job. She's had the same job working at a call center for over a year. but she has not had the chance to save up any money or have a bank account. So I'd ask the court to consider pretrial release for her.
Your Honor, I have no objection to pretrial. I would ask, though, based on her breath alcohol reading, for no alcohol, intoxicants, and random testing.
That would be fine.
Your Honor?
Yes.
If inclined to place on pretrial release, pretrial release have one request that you have a defendant stipulate on the record of her address as to where she resides, because last week we had a situation wherein the public defender's office asked for someone to be released on pretrial, and it turned out the person lived in Fort Pierce, not in the Tri-County area.
What's your address, Karina?
658 Northeast 6th Court, apartment Villas and Larry in Boynton Beach, Florida, 33435.
How long has she been at that address?
How long have you lived there?
Like 3.5 years.
Is there someone else who resides at that address with you?
My roommate.
Okay. And you have a number that you can give to pretrial supervision? A phone number?
No, I don't know their phone number.
They need to verify your address.
I mean, I can give you the phone number to my ex-boyfriend. That's the only phone number I have that I know.
All right. I will release Ms. Bossum into pretrial supervision. You're going to have to get the information necessary to pretrial supervision so that they can sign you up. During your time on pretrial, no alcohol, and you'll be subjected to random testing.
Okay.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you, Judge.
The jail is requesting on page 25. He's the third one from the bottom. Mohammed Mushi. If he could be taken on return from that.
Your Honor, the jail has called asking for a case to be called out of turn.
What case is that?
It's just about the last case on your docket, Mr.
All right. I got it. I got it. Confinement just said it, Mr. Reedy.
There you go. We work together. We're a well-oiled machine, Judge.
All right. Where are we at the main jail?
Main jail, yes.
Mr. Munchie's approaching.
Right, trying to get.
All right. Mohammed Munchie. All right. Sir, you are before the court this morning for sexual assault with a weapon on a victim over 12 years of age. I do find probable cause. And I'll hear from the parties.
I would note, it also, it appears that the detective's intent was that this be charged as an attempt, which does make it bondable.
Okay.
That being said, I do have great concerns based on these allegations, and that Mr. Munchie armed himself prior to engaging and attempting to commit these acts against the victim in the bathroom of this convenience store. I would be requesting a $75,000 bond, pretrial release with a GPS monitor, no victim contact. Would also be requesting a passport surrender prior to his release.
Judge, in speaking with Mr. Munchie, hold on one moment, please. Hold on one moment. In speaking with Mr. Munchie, Judge, from what he advised me, he works at a gas station. He has limited funds. He gave me the phone number of family who I intend on calling afterwards. He couldn't elaborate as far as their financial resources, but from what he advised me, he works at a gas station. Judge, when I try to inquire as far as if he owns any sort of property, from my understanding, he does not own anything. So his financial resources are quite limited. I'd ask you to take that into consideration in determining reasonable release conditions for Mr. Munchie.
All right. The allegations in this affidavit is very concerning, and there is cause for concern for the community. I do find probable cause, and so I am going to impose a bond of $75,000 with GPS, no victim contact, and Mr. Munchie must surrender his passport before release.
And Your Honor, I apologize only because I would ask that this be part of the order also, that Mr. Munchie not possess or reapply for a passport until further order of the court.
All right, if the state will provide an order.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, we'll call some of Mr. Shade's cases. On page 2, Lori Lanham.
Judges,
North Broward, I believe.
Judge, the docket says Pembroke Pine. This is actually coming out of the city of Hollywood, and they've offered her a time-served plea.
All right, Ms. Lanham, you are before the court today for, it's a misdemeanor KPS
Yes, ma'am.
on a open container charge, and I do find probable cause. Your attorney's here, ma'am, and is stating that there's an offer to resolve your case from the city. It's a municipal ordinance violation for adjudication and time served. Is that what
Yes,
you wish to do?
I would love to do that today.
All right, ma'am, what plea do you wish to enter?
You'd like to plead no contest, ma'am?
Yes, that sounds great.
All right, Ms. Lanham, let's do this. Please raise your right hand to the best of your ability. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am, you can put your hand down. Do you understand everything that's going on here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right?
Yes, I do.
And have you ever been treated for a mental or emotional illness?
Yes, I have.
Are you taking any medications, or is there anything about that illness today that would prevent you from making a intelligent decision?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, ma'am, I do understand that.
What plea do you wish to enter? Guilty or no contest?
No contest.
All right, I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given, and your sentence is adjudication and time served. Good luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Paula Rickle.
North Broward.
I'm sorry?
Good morning.
Page 3. Laura Rick, good morning. Ma'am, you are before the court. It's on a misdemeanor KPS matter on solicitation and panhandling. I do find probable cause.
Oh, Judge, on Ms. Rocco, the city of Hollywood offered her time served. And Paul, I just want to say, you look so much better than you did
Thank
last
you.
time, okay? I mean, try not to go back to doing what you're doing, because you look so much better.
I'm done. I got help through the community.
Excellent.
The community helped me get to the place I am to now to get recovered, and I'm willing to do what the community feels best, which is either to stay on rent or to go back to New Mexico, depending on what's best for everybody.
All right, well,
Keep it up.
it's what's best for you, Ms. Rocco. So I
I
wanted,
got an apartment.
okay. So you need to do whatever it will take for you to not have to come before the court. Do you understand that?
Keep my sobriety, of course, ma'am.
All right. So you wish to resolve your case today?
Yes, please.
All right. To the best of your ability, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Do you understand everything that's going on here today?
I'm trying to.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No,
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
I'm just really tired.
All right. And do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea today could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
I'm a citizen.
All right. What plea do you wish to enter?
I think
Guilty or no contest?
no contest.
All right. I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given. And your sentence is adjudication and time served. Good luck, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care, Paul.
Have a happy Mother's Day, St. Easter.
Thank you.
Paul.
You too. Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Francine Hancock. Frankie Jean Hancock.
Judge,
She's in the downtown courtroom.
Okay. All right.
thank you, Judge. And then, Judge, I think the last one's on page 25.
Yes. And Darwin Mingo.
Correct.
North Broward. He's so far down on the docket, John, I couldn't bring him in until I get rid of some people.
Judge, I can come back.
All right, because it's a misdemeanor capious, and he has a new law violation as well.
I'll
So
come back. I'm just going to run to Judge Paul.
okay.
I'll be right back.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. And then on page 20, do we, all right, so do we have Renor Kresnicki in?
Mr. Krasnicki, come this way. Your private attorney's here. He's approaching, Judge. He's here, me.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm well. It's good to see you, Mr. Sobel.
Very good to see you, Judge. David Sobel on behalf of Raynor Kaminsky.
There's your private, Mr. Sobel's on the bottom center screen.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, sir, you are before the court for an aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Mr. Sobel, have you had a chance to speak with the state? Is there something?
I haven't had an opportunity to speak with the state, Judge. I have had an opportunity to review the probable cause affidavit, and I'm prepared to make argument for bond.
Okay. I do find probable cause. This appears to be a
It appears to be pretty
fight
much
between
a bar fight.
Yes. All
Judge.
right.
Mr. Kanowski is a 29-year-old individual. He's a U.S. citizen. He doesn't have a criminal history. He's engaged right now. He's been with his fiancee for 6 years. She's present in the court, Your Honor. Her name is Alana Belangi. You can raise your hand. Judge, he has strong ties to this community. He's gainfully employed. He's employed as an electrician for a company named Genesis. And while working full-time, he's also going to school part-time to further himself as an electrician, to become a journeyman and get a journeyman license at a school called ABC. He rents his home right now, but he's trying to purchase a home with his fiancee. This is someone who has strong and deep ties to this community, Your Honor, and I'd ask that bond, in light of the facts I understand are serious and the allegations are serious, but seeing that this is a passion, bar fight type of situation, there was no firearm involved, no intent going into the evening to commit a crime, ask that you set bond at an amount of $3,000, Your Honor.
All right, Steve.
Your Honor, I'm requesting a $10,000 bond. Frankly, the allegations, it appears that the interaction between the two parties was pretty minimal until Mr. Kresnicki threw a glass and struck the victim in his head. While no firearm was involved, I would note that the victim required 4 staples to the top portion of his head and a 1-inch stitching to his forehead. I would also be requesting no victim contact and no return to the incident location, Rock Bar.
Your Honor, we have no objection to the no victim contact and no return as well. As you can see from Mr. Krasinski, he also suffered some significant injuries. It seemed they both went to the hospital that evening as a result of this incident. And the $10,000 bond is a little excessive in this, considering the financial resources. And without putting on Ms. Bonacchi as testimony, I've spoken to her, and her resources are that she can afford a $3,000 bond, something in the lines of a $300 bond to a bondsman.
All right, I do find probable cause. I know that there's a lot going on here, but I'm going to impose a bond of $5,000, no victim contact, and no return to this location.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good morning. See you.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, next I have Chris Butcher on page 11.
Come on up. He's approaching, Judge.
All right. Have you had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Butcher?
I have, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. So Mr. Butcher is before the court for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And the bondsman is here. I do find probable cause. And so I'll hear from the parties as to bond.
Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting a $15,000 bond, pretrial release with a GPS monitor, no contact with the victim or his family, immediate family, no possession of any firearms or weapons. My concern, and I don't know if there are any mental health issues here, but it would appear based on all the allegations in this report that with no provocation, Mr. Butcher pulled a firearm, threatened the victim while he was present with his son, his 5-year-old son, in their garage, threatening to harm him, threatening to kill him.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
James Jones from out on bail. I did speak both to the father and the victim, who is his brother-in-law. He doesn't wish to go on with the charges. He did speak to me regarding that. I gave him information to try to get in touch with the state regarding the matter. Don't know the extent of the police report because I didn't read it, but he's not. He said he's not in fear, and he's going to file a waiver for him on his behalf. I know the father doesn't have that much money. I did speak with the family. The most they probably couldn't afford is a $5,000 bond.
Okay. Mr. Romero?
Judge, that's exactly what I was going to be requesting. I'm going to be requesting a $5,000 bond. Judge, as you heard, the victim in this case is his brother-in-law. My understanding is his brother-in-law is not from here. He's visiting. He's actually from the Virgin Islands. I believe he was scheduled to go back to the Virgin Islands yesterday. I believe he's extending and staying to make an appointment with the state attorney's office to fill out a waiver of prosecution. Having said that, Judge, my understanding this is Mr. Butcher's first arrest ever. He's 20 years old. He is a registered voter here in our community. He's currently working. He just got a job. He's been employed now 1 month. He works for a company called Lee Parker Inc., which they do upholstery, in which he's making approximately $12 an hour. He's going to be reaching out to his family to help post his monetary bond. But as you heard, their financial resources are limited. So, Judge, I'm going to be asking for the court to consider a $5,000 bond on Mr. Butcher's behalf.
All right. Based on the allegations of probable cause affidavit, it seems like there is mental health concerns. There's several times this mentioned that the family did not want to call the police, but the situation is what it is, and so this is not a misdemeanor case that I can transfer directly to a mental health court. So I would just say to the parties that maybe some more investigation needs to be done. But I do find probable cause, and I am going to impose a bond of $5,000, no victim contact, until further order of the court.
Thank you,
Your Honor, I would ask that I know it's on the no contact order, but that just so if it could be verbalized from Mr. Butcher here that he not be in possession of any firearms or weapons.
All right. Mr. Butcher, do you understand that? No weapons, no firearms.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Oh, Judge, a photo order, please.
And I'll sign a photo order.
You got it.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, on page 7, Chankivia Patier.
She's approaching.
All right.
And there's Mr. Jelling, the private attorney.
All right. Good morning, Ms. Porter. Ms. Patier, you are before the court today. Count 1 is a traffic capias matter. Counts 2 through 6 are misdemeanor capias matters, and then 7 is a felony capias matter. Those are all no bond holds, and you will be before your misdemeanor court on, you'll be in your felony division tomorrow, April 16th at 8:30, and then the misdemeanor matters are scheduled for the following day at 9 a.m.
So, Ms. Potter, do you understand that the dates worked out well? So you'll see Judge Bailey tomorrow and Judge Brown on Wednesday. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, now the other thing is, Judge Powell here, even if she wanted to release you on Judge Bailey's hold, she could not. That's illegal. She's not going to do that for anybody, obviously, but I will inquire of the court if you could resolve the Judge Brown driving issues. Thing
No,
is, I think she should be released or be able to resolve her case with Judge Bailey tomorrow. So I'm hoping she doesn't have to sit till Wednesday because I know you can resolve the misdemeanors if you wish.
right, but there are several of them, and I would rather it goes to the division to be resolved.
It's only
not-
1, 2, 3, 4 of them. That was a joke for the record. Anyway, so do you understand, Shanky, in all seriousness, I asked Judge Palado to work out the Brown cases, but she's not going to do that. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks, Judge.
Thank you. All right, let's go back to the top of the docket.
Yes, Judge.
Ebony Silvas Price.
She's approaching, Judge.
All right, Ms. Price, you are before the court today for, it's a misdemeanor KPS, count 1, and count 2 is a traffic KPS, operating without a valid license, and count 1 is a battery. The first KPS is a battery. I do find probable cause. I don't know when Ms. Silvas Price will be in court next. I don't have that information. So... the situation with those. So I'll leave that for her to go to her division to resolve her case. Jessica Nelson.
No problem, Your Honor. She's going to require a Spanish interpreter.
All right, we'll call for the Spanish interpreter when they're here. We'll recall the case. Okay? Dee Dee Williams.
No problem.
All right, Ms. Williams, you are before the court today for battery on a person 65 years or older. I do find probable cause. I'll hear from the parties as to bond.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a $1,000 bond and no victim contact.
Okay. Does the defense wish to be heard on Dee Dee Williams as to bond?
Did not have a chance to talk to Ms. Williams earlier. So if you could give me a minute, maybe we could recall this. Let me speak with her.
Okay. All right. Ms. Williams, your attorney is going to speak to you in a moment, and then we'll recall your case, okay?
Okay.
All right. Jada Gray.
Ms. Gray is here, present Judge at Maine.
All right, Ms. Gray, you are before the court this morning for 1 count of petty theft, and count 2 is driving with a suspended or revoked license. I do find probable cause. As to bond?
Judge, in speaking to Ms. Gray, from what she informed me, she does not believe she's going to be able to afford to post a monetary bond. She's been here living in our community her whole entire life. She's living in Pompano Beach, where she moved in approximately 3 months ago with a roommate. Judge, so at this time, on this non-violent offense, we're asking the court to consider releasing her on pretrial release.
One moment, Judge. No objection, Your Honor.
Judge, someone's talking and I can't hear anything.
All right, the state has no objection to the pretrial release. The pretrial supervision will need her local address.
Judge, why is that?
Reason being, the reason why pretrial release is requesting for these individuals to give their address on record is because Mr. Romero, last week you had an individual released a pretrial. You told the court she lived in Pompano, and it turned out she lived in Fort Pierce. Therefore, we need the local address on record.
So, Judge, what pretrial is saying basically,
All right,
the thousands of people that came through pretrial,
Mr. Romero,
inconvenience them. They're going to try and change the whole policy and inconvenience other people.
Mr. Romero, hold on, okay? All right, pretrial. I'm gonna ask you to do what you normally do. I have a big docket this morning, and I'm not going to stop every time. If that's the only reason, then let's just go through the normal course of getting the information. I will put her on pretrial release, and then she has to, if they don't have the information, then they don't, and then you'll take the next step, all right?
Pending verification, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
It'll be pending verification of her.
Well, isn't that true for everyone who goes on pretrial?
No.
No. With the pending verification.
All right, no, I am not gonna get in the middle of this. She's on pretrial, so I'm granting pretrial supervision, and pretrial can work out whatever needs to be worked out. Stephanie Pierre.
No, bro. No problem.
I got it. Ms. Pierre, you are before the court this morning for a misdemeanor capias, and count 2 is a bond surrender. It's a felony bond surrender. So your bond has been surrendered. There's $1,000 that attached to that. Count 1 is a misdemeanor capias matter. It's a prostitution charge. There is $500 bond on that. You will be before your felony division judge tomorrow at 8:30, and you'll be able to address those issues then.
Yes, Judge, I spoke with Ms. Pierre earlier and advised her that I'd be asking the court just to leave the bonds in place.
Okay. All right.
And you can recall Ms. Williams if you want to.
All right. After I do Lewis Hawthorne on page 25.
Morning, Judge. Kimbrell Davis on behalf of Mr. Hawthorne.
Good morning, Mr. Davis. She's far down on the docket, so it's page 20.
North Broward.
Right. So I don't know that we have too many private attorneys in the courtroom right now, but because of the changes of the jail, they don't bring everyone in at the same time. So
Judge, actually, he's walking in right now.
Okay, so if you sign in and someone is further down on the docket, we kind of probably have to let them know so that they can have them in.
Mr. Hawthorne, come on up. There's your private attorney right there. He's in the bottom middle screen, okay?
All right, Mr. Davis, just so you know, there has been several medical resets with Mr. Hawthorne, and so I don't even know what dates, but we found probable cause on those charges last week, and he was to be reset for bonds. So,
Judge, would you entertain any PC argument today? I didn't know that probable cause was found last week. I didn't see it in the court system. I did have some arguments to bring forward to the court about that.
Okay.
Well, Judge, just being that these cars that he is alleged to have burglarized are freely accessible to the public, they are saying that he didn't have any permission to be there, but he was at another location. He wasn't at Enterprise. He was at National, which are two completely separate, different businesses. And the reason that this is all coming forth, Judge, is because a overactive officer and detective who really have it out for Mr. Hawthorne, and anytime they see him trying to rent a car, which he rents a bunch of cars from this location, they just try and arrest him. And they're trying to charge him with burglary, but these cars are and it says it in the police report if you want to give the four corners test, Judge. The vehicle keys are left inside the vehicles for patrons for their convenience. So it's not like he's just trying to open the car door and just burglarize it. He's opening it to see if the car is comfortable and fitting for him to be able to drive off and just have a legit transaction with the business.
Okay. State.
Your Honor, it specifically states the business protects their assets by a protective fence barrier. The only way the company allows the vehicles out of their barriers through the gate. It does not appear that Mr. Hawthorne ever approached anyone to look into renting a car. He was identified by an eyewitness, Your Honor,
as doing something any other customer would do.
No, Your
All
Honor.
right, I'm still gonna keep my ruling. I find probable cause. Let's talk about bond.
Okay. Judge just asking for a reasonable bond. He does have an out-of-county hold, so he's going to have to go back and answer to Miami-Dade first. But just asking for pretrial release with an electronic monitor.
Well, first, I would definitely oppose that, considering one of the charges he's on probation for is damaging an electronic monitor. Because he's been convicted of damaging an electronic monitor, I have concern about his future appearance in court. I would also note that he has a pending grand theft auto in Broward County. I would be requesting $5,000 on the burglary of the structure, $2,500 bonds on the burglary conveyances, and no return.
Might add, it's the same parties that charged him with the pending case that is bringing forth these allegations that we are dealing with today.
All right, as to count one, I will impose a bond of $5,000. Count two, the $1,000 bond will remain. Counts 3, 4, and 5, it'll be $1,000. And then the remaining 3 counts are no bond holds and not for magistrate. So, all right, good luck, sir.
And no return, Your Honor?
No return to that location.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
And our interpreter is here, Judge.
All right. Our interpreter was here for which one?
Judge, there's two gentlemen that require Spanish interpreter.
Which was the first one?
Nelson.
Okay.
Oh, Brown.
All right, good morning.
Buenos días. Good morning.
You want to raise your right hand? You swear or affirm to translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
I do, Your Honor. For the record, Moises Hernandez.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez, good morning. Ms. Nelson, good morning.
Buenos días, señora Nelson.
Ms. Nelson, you are before the court today.
Señora Nelson se encuentra ante el tribunal en el día de hoy.
Charge number 1 is possession of THC.
El primer cargo es posesión de THC.
Charge number 2 is DUI, alcohol or drugs.
El segundo cargo es conducir bajo embriaguez o bajo drogas.
Charge 3 is failure to change address on driver's license.
El tercer cargo es que incumplió con la obligación de cambiar la dirección de la licencia de conducir.
4 is following too closely. Those are traffic infractions.
Y la cuarta es una infracción de tránsito por seguir demasiado cerca a otro vehículo.
5 is failure to drive in a single lane.
El quinto es que no conducía en un solo carril.
6 is possession of open container.
El sexto es que tenía en su posesión un
7
envase abierto.
7 is failure to provide insurance, proof of insurance.
El séptimo es que no tiene prueba de que está asegurada.
And 8 is failure to display vehicle registration.
Y el octavo es que no tiene tampoco el registro o la matrícula del vehículo.
Counts 3 through 8 are not for magistrate.
Los cargos del tercero al octavo no son para un magistrado.
I do find probable cause.
Encuentro causa probable.
And I will hear from your attorney in regards to your bond.
Escucharé de su abogado con relación a su fianza.
Well, Judge, my Spanish is not very good.
Bueno, su señoría, mi español no es muy bueno.
So I was not able to ask Ms. Nelson if she would be able to make a $1,500 bond.
Por lo tanto, no pude hablar con la señora Nelson para averiguar si ella podía cumplir con el pago de una fianza de $1,500.
So maybe our interpreter could ask her that question.
O sea que quizás nuestro intérprete pueda preguntarle a la señora.
¿Puedo pagarla ahorita mismo o la puedo pagar después?
Do I need to pay it now or can I pay it later?
Well, is there someone I can call to come bond you out?
Bueno, ¿hay alguien a quien yo pueda llamar para que le paguen la fianza?
Sí.
Yes.
And will they be able to make a $1,500 bond?
¿Y podrán pagar la fianza de $1,500?
Sí.
Yes.
All right. Let me get the number from her, Judge, and I
Okay.
will make that call.
Does the state wish to be heard?
¿La fiscalía desea ser escuchada?
No, Judge.
No, su señoría.
All right.
¿Puedo hacer una pregunta?
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Claro.
Después de que paguen la fianza, ¿puedo irme hoy de aquí?
After I pay the bond, may I leave today?
Once their bond is posted, she'll have to go through the normal course of release.
Una vez paguen la fianza, usted tendrá que pasar por un proceso que es lo usual para que la puedan liberar.
¿Pero puede ser hoy? ¿Cuánto tiempo puede tomar eso?
But can it be today? How
It
long
can be
can
today.
it take?
It
Sí,
can be today. I can't tell her exactly what time.
pudiera ser hoy, lo que pasa que no le puedo decir a qué hora exactamente.
That will be up to the jail.
Eso le corresponde a la cárcel decidir.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so her bond on count one is $1,000,
$1,000 por de fianza por el primer cargo
and the bond on count two is $500.
y la fianza por el segundo cargo será de $500
So she has a total bond of $1,500.
para una fianza total de $1,500.
All right, good luck, ma'am.
Buena suerte, señora.
¿Puedo llamar a alguien porque nadie sabe que yo estoy aquí?
May I call in someone because no one knows I'm here?
Right, so she has to ask the jail for permission to make a phone
Yes,
call.
Judge, I'm going to
Tiene que
ask the
pedirle
interpreter to
permiso
get
a la
on the phone
cárcel,
with her right
a
now.
los carceleros.
All right, who else needs a Spanish interpreter?
¿Quién más
Two
necesita
gentlemen on
intérprete de
page 20,
español?
Judge.
What are the names, please?
Esteban Chalel on page 20. And on page 21, Raimundo Garcia. Senor Chalel. Chalel. Here's Mr. Chalel.
And who's the next one after Mr. Shalel?
On page 21, Mr. Raimundo Garcia.
How do you spell Shalal?
Chalel, C-H-I-L-E-L.
C-H-I-L-E-L.
L-E-L. It's the next page following Mr. Chalel, Judge. So I'm
Yeah.
it's 1, 2, 3, three people down. His complete name, Raimundo Garcia Ramirez.
All right, Esteban Shalel.
Yeah.
Sí. Yes.
Sir, you are before the court this morning. Count one is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill.
Caballero, usted se encuentra ante el tribunal en el día de hoy y el primer cargo es agresión agravada sin intención de matar, pero con un arma mortífera.
And count two is kidnapping.
Y el segundo cargo es kidnapping, estupro
All right. I do find probable cause.
o rapto. Encuentro causa probable.
Your Honor, the state would be seeking a no bond hold on count two.
Su señoría, la fiscalía solicitaría que no se le conceda fianza por el segundo cargo de rapto.
Upon a finding of proof evident or presumption great for first appearance purposes only.
Al presentarse, I'm sorry, could you repeat what you said?
The whole thing?
No, the last part.
Upon a finding of proof evident or presumption great for first appearance purposes only.
A menos que presente prueba de proof evident of
Or presumption great.
o pueda presumírsele que pagará la fianza y que se presentará ante el tribunal.
The state would be relying upon the probable cause affidavit.
La fiscalía se fundamenta en el affidavit de causa probable
Interview of the victim.
y la entrevista con la víctima
and post-Miranda admissions by the defendant.
y admisiones hechas posterior a los avisos Miranda de parte del encausado.
Yes, Judge, we would object to the court making a finding of proof evident presumption grade at this stage of the proceedings.
Sí, su señoría, nosotros objetamos o tenemos reparos con que el tribunal llegue a unas conclusiones de que hay una prueba evidente.
That is the highest standard of proof we have in the criminal justice system.
Esa es la norma más alta que tenemos en el sistema judicial.
The state has produced no witnesses,
Y la fiscalía no ha presentado testigo alguno,
introduced no evidence.
ni ha presentado prueba alguna.
They're relying solely on a probable cause affidavit
Se fían únicamente en un affidavit de causa probable
written by someone who did not witness the events.
que ha sido redactado por alguien que no presenció los hechos.
The state references the statement given by the defendant,
La fiscalía hace referencia a unas declaraciones hechas por el encausado,
but they haven't produced that statement.
pero no las han producido.
This court has not heard the opportunity to hear it,
Este tribunal no ha tenido la oportunidad de escucharlas.
and it states in there that he was unfamiliar with firearms and had never shot one in his life.
Y ahí indica que él no tenía familiaridad alguna con las armas de fuego y nunca había disparado alguna.
And that he thought it was a toy gun.
Y que suponía que era un juguete, una pistola de juguete.
In fact, the entire content of his statement is somewhat confusing.
De hecho, el contenido completo de las declaraciones hechas son algo confusas
And does not rise to the level of proof evident presumption grade.
y no se elevan al nivel de que formen parte o se conviertan en prueba evidente.
Therefore, I'd be asking this court to set bond for Mr. Shillel.
Por lo tanto, yo solicitaría que este tribunal le fije una fianza al señor Chilel.
And if over our objection this court does find proof evident presumption grade,
Y si por encima de los reparos que tenemos este tribunal sí hallara prueba evidente,
I would ask this court to exercise its discretion
yo solicitaría a este tribunal que ejerciera su discreción
and set bond in this case.
y fijara como quiera una fianza para este caso.
Okay, the allegations in this probable cause affidavit is of great concern to the community. Here,
Muy bien, aquí las alegaciones que aparecen en el affidavit son de gran preocupación para la comunidad.
Mr. Shillel is alleged, it's alleged that he
Se alega que el señor Chilel,
took a taxi.
que tomó un taxi
And in the middle of the drive, he pulled a handgun,
y que a mitad de camino sacó un arma de fuego,
pointed at the victim,
la apuntó a la víctima
and told him that he would shoot him.
y le dijo que le dispararía.
And at that time, the victim did not think it was a toy gun.
Y en ese momento la víctima no pensaba que se trataba de una pistola de juguete.
Further, there is no requirement for making a finding of proof evident presumption grade.
Más aún, no hay exigencia alguna para que un tribunal llegue a una conclusión de prueba evidente.
The court has to see the affidavits of the victims.
Ni que el tribunal tenga que ver el affidavit de la víctima.
So I am finding probable cause.
Por lo tanto, determino causa probable o
Further
motivo fundado.
Further as to count two, I will make a preliminary finding.
Y en cuanto al segundo cargo, hago una determinación preliminar
Of proof evident presumption grade.
de prueba evidente a nivel de presunción.
It does not bar the defendant
Eso no impide que el encausado
from further having a bond hearing
tenga una vista de fianza posteriormente,
based on State v. Arthur.
basado en
State of Florida versus Arthur.
basado en el caso Estado de la Florida versus Arthur.
All right. Yes.
I'm sorry, if I may.
Yeah.
Si me permite, Fiscalía.
Based on your ruling on count 2,
Basado en su dictamen en el cargo 2,
I'd be requesting a $10,000 bond on count 1.
yo solicitaría una fianza de $10,000 por el primer cargo,
No victim contact,
que no haya contacto alguno con la víctima,
No firearms or weapons.
Que no tenga posesión de armas de fuego ni armas.
Nothing further.
Nada más.
I will also exercise my right on count one, count two, to set a bond. So if the state wishes to be heard as to the bond on two.
Voy a ejercer igualmente mi derecho o mi facultad de imponer una fianza por el segundo cargo. Por lo tanto, si la fiscalía tiene algo que decir al respecto.
Yes, Your Honor, and obviously I do apologize for cutting you off. I didn't.
That's okay.
Sí, su señoría, sí tengo algo que decir y me disculpo por interrumpirla.
Based on the allegations,
Basado en las alegaciones presentadas,
I would be requesting a $75,000 bond on count two.
solicitaría una fianza de $75,000 por el segundo cargo.
Judge, I know the allegations are alarming.
Su señoría, conozco que las alegaciones son alarmantes. I'm sorry.
In speaking with Mr. Shillel, he's 33 years old.
Y en vista de que el señor Chilelli tiene 33 años de edad.
He's been living in our community for the past 16 years.
Y que lleva viviendo en una comunidad los últimos 16 años en nuestra comunidad.
He works in roofing.
Trabaja como techero.
He's been working for the same roofing company for the past 3 years.
Ha trabajado para la misma compañía de techos por los últimos 3 años.
And he makes approximately $400 per week.
Y devenga aproximadamente $400 semanales.
He lives in Fort Lauderdale.
Él vive en Fort Lauderdale.
Where he rents a room in a house.
Donde alquila una habitación en una casa.
And where he's been residing for the past 5 months.
Y donde ha vivido por los últimos 5 meses.
My understanding, Judge, he owns no property.
El entendido que tengo, su señoría, es que él no posee propiedad alguna.
He has no money in the bank.
No tiene dinero en el banco.
And my understanding is this is the first time he's ever been arrested.
Y tengo entendido que esta es la primera ocasión en que se le ha arrestado.
Judge, also one important thing that I did find out from Mr. Shillel.
Su señoría, sí, también quiero señalar otras cosas que he averiguado del señor Chilel.
The highest level of achievement he's achieved.
El nivel mayor de estudios que ha logrado.
Is second grade.
Es el segundo grado.
Past 7 years old, he's never had an education.
A partir de los 7 años de edad, no ha tenido educación alguna.
So I'd ask you to determine reasonable release conditions for Mr. Shillel, and I'd also ask you to sign a phone order.
Por lo tanto, le solicito unas condiciones razonables para su liberación en la orden.
Right. Finding probable cause as to count one, I am going to impose a bond of $5,000.
Encuentro fundamentos para procesarlo por el cargo 1.
On count two, it will be $35,000.
En el segundo cargo impongo una fianza de $35,000.
No victim contact.
Que no haya contacto con la víctima.
No firearms or weapons.
Que no tengan su posesión armas de fuego ni arma alguna.
All right. Good luck, sir.
Buena suerte, caballero.
Yes, yes. Raimundo Garcia Ramirez.
Señor Garcia. Mr. Reedy, you got a phone order for Mr. Shillel.
And I'll do the phone order.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now, Hector.
And Mr. Garcia Ramirez, you are before the court this morning for one count of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
Señor Raimundo García, usted se encuentra ante el tribunal en el día de hoy por un cargo de agresión agravada con un arma.
And I do find probable cause.
Encuentro motivos fundados para procesarlo.
Does anyone wish to be heard as to the bond?
La defensa desea hablar sobre la fianza. O la fiscalía, la fiscalía.
Mr. Garcia, I understand this is his first arrest. He's 33 years old, been living here the past 4 years.
Este es su primer arresto. I'm sorry.
No,
Este es su primer arresto. Lleva viviendo en la comunidad los últimos 4 años. Go ahead, counsel.
He's 33 years old, Judge.
Tiene 33 años de edad, su señoría.
He lives locally here in Pompano Beach with his brother.
Vive localmente en Pompano Beach con su hermano.
Where they've been renting for 1 year and paying $950 per month.
Donde llevan alquilando hace un año y pagan $950 mensuales.
Judge, he works in landscaping.
Su señoría, él trabaja en ornato y jardinería.
On an average, he makes about $300 per week doing that.
Como promedio, devenga $300 semanalmente.
Judge, I'm going to be requesting a photo order.
A photo order?
Photographic order, correct?
Su señoría, vamos a solicitar una orden de fotografía.
And I had asked the court to consider imposing reasonable release conditions considering his financial resources.
Y le solicito al tribunal que le imponga condiciones razonables tomando en cuenta sus condiciones económicas.
Your Honor, I'm going to be seeking a $15,000 bond.
Su señoría, yo voy a solicitar la imposición de una fianza de $15,000.
No victim contact.
Que no haya contacto con la víctima.
No weapons.
Que no posea armas.
I don't have anything in my database with respect to Mr. Garcia Ramirez.
No tengo nada en el banco de datos que disponga de los antecedentes del señor García Ramírez.
I am concerned, though, according to the report.
Me preocupa, no obstante, según el informe,
that Mr. Garcia Ramirez, with premeditation,
que el señor García Ramírez, de forma premeditada,
armed himself,
se armó,
went to the victim's home,
fue al hogar de la víctima
and slashed him on the victim on the top of his head with a sharp object.
Y cortó a la víctima en la parte superior de la cabeza con un objeto punzante,
causing the victim to suffer 2 large lacerations to his skull.
Causándole 2 laceraciones serias sobre la cabeza.
I would also note that it appears that the 2 residences listed, both for the victim and the defendant,
También quiero observar que las 2 residencias que aparecen tanto para la víctima como para el agresor
are approximately 0.2 miles apart from one another.
Se encuentran a una distancia de 0.2 millas.
So that causes the state additional concern.
Y eso causa que el Estado tenga mayores preocupaciones.
Nothing further.
Nada más.
All right. So as to count, well, it's only one count. I am imposing a bond of
Hay un cargo, impongo la fianza de
$7,500.
$7,500.
No victim contact.
Que no haya contacto con la víctima.
No weapons or firearm.
Y que no tenga posesión de armas ni de fuegos de armas. Armas de fuego.
All right, good luck, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Is there anyone else who needs a Spanish interpreter?
¿Hay alguien más que necesite de un intérprete en español?
Not a main judge.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you, Judge.
We're going to take a little break so I can speak with the students. So we'll be on off for a moment.
hear from a couple of different people on the docket.
All right. Well, let's get back on the record. And Dee Dee Williams at North Broward? All right. So, Mr. Reedy, you had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Williams?
I did, Judge,
Okay.
and she's been living here all of her life. She's been living in the same location for the last 2 years with her husband, and my understanding is that she has never been arrested before. Unfortunately, because she does have a disability, she does not have any money saved up and cannot make a monetary bond. I would ask the court to consider releasing her to pretrial release with the condition of having no contact with the alleged victim in the case. But based on her ties to the community and her lack of financial resources, I don't think that she's going to be able to bond herself out.
Okay. All right, Ms. Williams, I will release you on pretrial supervision. No contact with the victim in this case until further order of the court.
Okay.
All right. If I remember correctly, it seems like all the parties were living at the same place. So I need you to understand that no contact means no contact. You can't write, you can't phone, you can't text, you can't make a phone, it's just, it means what it says. And so sometimes when there's a no contact order, somebody has to move or somebody has to stay somewhere else until the case is over or until that issue is resolved. So I just need you to understand that. Okay?
Okay.
All right, good luck. All right. Was there someone else that we were?
Well, there are family members from Mr. Burkan Kaya on page 19.
Well, do we know if Mr. Romero's gotten to that person yet?
I'm ready, Judge.
Okay, on
Thank
page
you.
19.
Mr. Carter. You have family that are present in court.
All right, Burke and Kaya on page 19.
Yes, Judge, his sister is present and other family members are also here.
All right, Mr. Kaya, you are before the court this morning for count 1, fleeing, attempting to elude law enforcement. 2 is reckless driving. 3 is fleeing and eluding with lights and siren active. 4, fleeing and eluding law enforcement at high speed. 5, fleeing with disregard for safety to persons or property. And that's 5, and then 6 is improper turn. That's a traffic infraction.
Judge, she has posted bond on counts 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Okay.
That being the case, Judge, and my understanding is I don't believe he's ever been in any kind of trouble before. I'd ask the court to consider releasing him on his own recognizance on count 4. And 5.
Your Honor, I would be requesting an additional $2,500 bond on 4 and 5 based on these allegations, and I'm really looking at the totality of the allegations for and a total bond that I'd be requesting. These are 2 second-degree felonies. As the officer mentions in his report, he put the safety of law enforcement in jeopardy. He put the safety of his passengers in his vehicle in jeopardy by his actions last night and the manner he was operating his vehicle.
Okay, good morning, folks. How are you? Is there something you wish to say? Okay.
Now, they're here, mostly for emotional support, Judge, for...
Were you the ones who posted the bond? Okay. I'm sorry, ma'am?
He's a very good boy, upstanding.
Sure. I may. As you heard, this is Mr. Kaya's first contact with the criminal justice system. He's 24 years old. He's a graduate of South Broward High School class of 2013. He's working. He lives here locally with his parents. He does appreciate his family and friends being here for support. Judge, If the court's not comfortable with an ROR on counts 4 and 5, I'm going to ask you of $1,000 on each count. I believe the total then would be $5,600. I believe that's reasonable. But Mr. Kai, I did advise him that he'll probably be getting a notice in the mail. I'll probably come back to court within anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. He will be coming back to court. He's not a flight risk, and so Judge, either ROR on 4 and 5 or 1,000 on each count would be reasonable on 4 and 5.
All right, I do find probable cause, and I am I will ROR on 4 and 5, and then you've already posted the bonds on counts 1, 2, 3, right? Good luck. All right, Fania Azor.
North Broward, Judge.
We're recalling that for, I don't know. I have it to the side. I don't know why. Okay. All right. Mrs. Zor, you are before the court this morning for count 1 is possession of cannabis 20 grams or less. Count 2 is possession of MDMA. Count 3 is possession of heroin. Count 4 is possession of cocaine. Count 5 is possession of drug paraphernalia. And count 6, driving while license suspended or revoked. I do find probable cause as to all those counts.
Your Honor, based on my conversations with Ms. Azor, I don't believe that she's going to be able to post the monetary bonds that are currently listed here. I understand that she does have a prescription for the Xanax, so that's something that may work itself out in the long run. She has been living in Florida for the last 20 years, and from what I understand, from what she told me, she has no prior contact with the criminal justice system. If that is true, I would ask the court to consider releasing her on her own recognizance to pretrial release.
First of all, I'm not sure what Xanax Mr. Reedy is referring to, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't have a prescription for ecstasy, heroin, or cocaine, which is what she's been charged with. Secondly, based on his statements, I guess if she's had contact with the system, then it shouldn't be considered. She was arrested last year for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and resisting without violence. In Palm Beach County, those were dropped, and she has a substantial juvenile history.
All right. Finding probable cause, I'm going to leave the standard bonds in place. 100, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 100.
I'll call your mom for you, Fenia.
All right. All right. Tucker, Santi Tucker.
Miss Tucker is here at Main. Judge approaching. Come on up, ma'am. No problem, ma'am. Be careful.
All right, Ms. Tucker, you're before the court for driving while license suspended habitual, and I do find probable cause. Does anyone wish to be heard?
Judge, Miss Tucker gave me the phone number of her husband, and I plan on calling him right after court of bond are out.
All right, ma'am, your bond is $750. Good luck. Andrea Lamorta.
Yes.
Good morning, ma'am. You are before the court. Count 1 is false ID given to a law enforcement officer. Count 2 is a felony violation of pretrial. That's a no bond hold and not for magistrate. You will be before your division judge tomorrow at 8:30. I do find probable cause. And I'll leave the bond of $100 on count 1 in place.
That'd be fine, Judge. And so you know, Andrea, I spoke to your mom and I spoke to your son, okay?
My son?
Ian?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bryce.
Next we have Kristen Bryce.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Bryce, you are before the court. Count 1 is possession of cocaine. Count 2 is possession of drug paraphernalia. Count 3 is felony violation of probation. That's a no bond hold. Count 4 is felony violation of probation, also a no bond hold. I do find probable cause.
Judge, in light of the no bond holds, I'd ask the court to keep the $1,000 bond in place on count 1.
All right, I'll leave the bond in place on count 1. Tiana Williams.
No problem.
Ms. Williams, you are before the court. Count 1 is false ID given to a law enforcement officer. Count 2 is possession of cocaine. Count 3 is a misdemeanor capias matter. That's on a prostitution charge, and I do find probable cause.
This is what he said.
Judge, I don't believe Ms. Williams is going to be able to make the $1,500 bond that's currently in place. I'd ask the court to consider pretrial release for her.
Your Honor, I don't believe she's a good candidate. She doesn't show up in court, and then when she is confronted by law enforcement, she tries to give a fake name. That's count 3, I imagine.
I'll leave the standard bonds in place. Good luck, ma'am. Alexandra Isaacs.
Medical log.
All right, thank you. John Keese Rollins.
Mr. Rollins is approaching, Judge.
All right, you are before the court for an out-of-state felony hold. That's a no bond hold, and you will be going to extradition court either tomorrow or Thursday. Good luck. Prentice Myers.
No problem, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Myers, you are before the court. Count 1 is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. Count 2 is culpable negligence, inflicting harm. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, I'm going to be requesting a $10,000 bond on count 1. Excuse me, $5,000 bond on count 2. No victim contact with either victim. No possession of any weapons or firearms. I'm concerned, Your Honor, that he threatened one victim with a knife after this individual was just trying to protect his mother. And then while he was trying to stab that victim, he did in fact stab his girlfriend, who is the victim's mother.
I appreciate the state's concerns, but Mr. Myers is not going to be able to make a $1,500 bond, Judge, a $15,000 bond.
Does Mr. Myers have priors?
If you check, I'll check the pretrial, Your Honor. All right, as to count 1, I'm imposing a bond of $5,000. Count 2, $5,000. No victim contact, and no firearms or weapons. Good luck, sir. Kevin Rahman.
Judge, Judge, Mr. Raming is here presently.
Mr. Raming, you're before the court, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. It's a domestic violence charge. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, I'll be requesting a $7,500 bond. I don't see any criminal history. I don't know if pretrial can verify that. That being said, even with no criminal history, I believe the $7,500 is still an appropriate bond, considering really with no provocation, he chased and threatened the victim with a butcher knife, and this was witnessed by the victim's mother, and who is also Mr. Raming's girlfriend, and she corroborated the victim's version of events.
Okay.
Judge, I'm going to be requesting a $2,000 bond. My understanding is, as the state advised the court, this is his first contact with the criminal justice system. He's 42 years old. My understanding, and speaking with Mr. Raming, that this date of incident wasn't yesterday. I believe it was like 3 weeks ago. And since then, they've been living together. No other altercations or problems. I believe the victim is going to be signing a waiver of prosecution. Having said that, Judge, I did advise him the court is going to be imposing a no-contact order. He will abide by that. He's going to live with his own sister, separate and apart with the alleged victim during these proceedings. Judge, he is working. He works at a company called Wash and Go, where he's been employed there for 1 year, full-time, making about $12 an hour. He helps to support the household. The apartment where they all been living is approximately $850 per month. He basically provides, I guess, a majority of the economic resources for the home, for the household. So, Judge, I'm going to be asking, considering his lack of any criminal prior, I'm going to be asking for a $2,000 bond on his behalf.
All right, I do find probable cause. I'm going to impose a bond of $3,500, no victim contact. Roy Greer. Is Mr. Greer with us?
I believe medical loan, Judge.
Okay. Tremaine Simpson.
Come on up, please. Please approach the Judge.
All right, Mr. Simpson, you're before the court on a misdemeanor capious matter. It is for petty theft. I do find probable cause. Bond.
And speaking of Mr. Simpson, he wishes to try and resolve this matter today.
State is I don't know if is this a matter that you can give an offer?
I can tell you right now, Your Honor, the offer, the documented offer from the state is 30 days in county jail. He had a theft from transit, theft last year, grand theft last year, grand theft last year, felony theft last year, theft 2016, theft 2016, theft 2016. One of the grand thefts from last year, he was sentenced to 270 days in county jail on.
Right. So at this time, I'm not going to take a plea offer at the first appearance. Mr. Simpson can discuss further with his attorney. Jeffrey Hetrick.
No problem, man. No problem.
Sir, you are before the court. Count 1 is touch or strike battery. Count 2 is resisting officer without violence. I do find probable cause.
Judge, I don't think Mr. Hetrick is going to be able to make a $1,000 bond. Based on his criminal history, I'd ask the court to consider releasing him to pretrial.
Okay.
No, I can't answer your questions and look things up. does he have out of county in it? Because I don't have him on my list. Your Honor, I can tell you as far as Broward, 2014 possession of cannabis, 09 improper exhibition of a weapon. I bring this up because it appears there's a domestic element to this case. An arrest for battery in 09 that was dropped. Loitering and prowling 08. Possession of cocaine 06. He was convicted of battery in 03. He was arrested for aggravated battery in 96. That was dropped. Does pretrial have priors from other counties?
Yes, he currently has pending case where that is 250 mile radius from her.
Sorry.
And that's from Camden County.
Okay. All right, as to count one, the bond is $1,000. Count two, $500. No victim contact. All right, good luck, sir. Marcus Nagel. All right, Mr. Nagel, you are before the court for count one is obstruction by disguised person, and count two is trespassing. I do find probable cause.
I think so. I think he got out a few days ago on pretrial. April 11th?
Yes, ma'am, I was ROR'd.
Don't say anything, Marcus.
All right, so what is the story? Mr. Nagel's got what?
The story, Your Honor, Mr. Nagel has appeared in this division multiple times. Each time, normally the defense will ask for an ROR because he's doesn't have financial resources, even though we're advised every time that he resides in a high-rise condominium in Collins Avenue in Miami Beach. Every time he's arrested, even though he resides in Miami Beach, it's in Wilton Manors every time. In this instance, he was found in someone's home, randomly, their backyard. And then when law enforcement investigated, he gave a false name. He does have a pending possession of methamphetamine, drug paraphernalia, resisting without violence, and false fire alarm that is set in front of Judge Tobin Singer in drug court. And it also does appear that there are mental health issues.
All right, as to, I find probable cause, as to count one, the bond is $100. On count two, the bond is $500.
And Your Honor, that's for an order of no return, please.
This is, and no return to this location, sir. Arlington Salter.
He's approaching, Judge.
All right, Mr. Salter, you are before the court. Count one is a petty theft, and count two is driving while license suspended. I do find probable cause.
Judge, in speaking to Mr. Salter, he wishes to ask the court if the court would consider resolving this matter today.
One moment. Your Honor, I don't have an offer at this time. He just pled out a DWS last month. Now the combination of a DWS with a stolen license plate, it would appear Mr. Salter's taking active efforts to avoid apprehension for driving with a suspended license.
All right, Mr. Salter, your bond is $100, sir. Good luck. Michael Butenko.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Mr. Butenko, you are before the court for a misdemeanor capious matter on a possession of cannabis, 20 grams or less charge. I do find probable cause. What does Mr. Butenko wish to do?
Judge, he wishes to see if the court would be willing to resolve this matter today.
Offers a withhold court cost.
He wishes to accept the state's offer, Judge.
All right, sir, as best you can, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, sir, you can put your hand down. Mr. Butenko, do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No.
And are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
Have you ever been treated for a mental or emotional illness?
No.
You understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you're giving up that right?
Yes.
And do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, by taking a plea, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, and I am a citizen.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No.
What plea do you wish to enter, Mr. Butenko?
No contest.
All right, sir, I accept your no contest plea. Find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Your sentence serves a withhold adjudication and court costs. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Alonzo Jones.
Mr. Jones, come on up, please. He's here, President Manger.
All right, Mr. Jones, you're before the court for a misdemeanor KPS on a trespassing matter. You failed to appear, well, no, it's per Judge Hurley in open court. So there's $1,000 bond that's set on that. What does I do find probable cause. What does Mr. Jones wish to do?
Judge, in speaking with Mr. Jones earlier today, he wishes to resolve this matter.
All right.
Documented offers adjudication, time served, no return to the Circle K at 4791 North Dixie Highway in Deerfield Beach.
He wishes to accept the state's offer, Judge.
All right, Mr. Jones, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, you can put your hand down. Mr. Jones, you understand everything that's going on here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
Not that I see of. Not that I know of.
Do you need any more time to speak to me, sir?
Oh, about going back to the places.
You can't return to that place.
Okay, I'll make sure that's where.
Okay.
And I'll stay around where I live at. How I do things, get money, I'll be all right. I got little stuff home, but I just can't go out and sleep. Okay.
All right, Mr. Jones, do you?
56.
Mr. Jones, do you understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you're giving up that right?
Yes.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever been treated for a mental or emotional illness?
Yes, I'm done with that. Started with that back in 1983. I went through the whole process of everything.
Okay. Is there anything that's preventing you from making a decision today on this case?
No, ma'am.
All right. And do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, but I'm a U.S. citizen.
Okay. What plea do you wish to enter, sir?
No contest.
All right, I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Your sentence is adjudication and time served and no return to the Circle K. Do you understand that, sir?
No Circle K, no everywhere. I usually got.
All right, good luck, sir. Yes.
It's just a matter if I could ask you to address Judge, and actually, Mr. Reedy, Judge Levinson ordered a passport surrender on a case yesterday.
Okay.
But the state never prepared an order. I'm being advised that I guess a family member is downstairs with the passport ready to surrender, so they just need to order to accept it.
Okay. All right.
Here's the one you ordered on the case earlier.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right. Timothy Furr.
He's here, Judge, and he declined the service of public defender.
All right, Mr. Furr, you are before the court for a misdemeanor capious matter on a trespassing charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
But I don't know the address. I don't understand where this is from.
Okay, we'll split it up. Take that
State, do you have the address on the...
I do, Your Honor. This allegedly occurred at Shell gas station at 2501 North University Drive in Hollywood on November 20th of last year.
Did you hear that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so I do find probable cause. What do you wish to do, Mr. Furr?
Resolve it today, Your Honor.
All right, State, do you have an offer for him?
Adjudication, time served, court cost, no return.
Mr. Furr, if you want to resolve your case today, the sentence will be adjudication and time served and no return to that location.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you wish to resolve the case?
Yes.
All right, sir, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. Mr. Furr, do you understand everything that's going on here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you're giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No.
And do you understand, sir, that if you're not a U.S. citizen, by taking a plea, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Furr, what plea do you wish to enter, guilty or no contest?
No contest.
I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Your sentence, sir, is, again, adjudication, time served, and no return. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck. Craig Strong.
No trial, it's medical reset.
All right, thank you. Bernard Malone.
He's approaching, Judge. Mr. Malone, come on up. And he also declined the services of public defender.
How you doing, Your Honor?
I'm well, Mr. Malone. You are before the court for a misdemeanor capious matter. It's a trespassing charge. I do find probable cause. What do you wish to do, Mr. Malone?
I wish to resolve my case today, Your Honor.
All right, State, do you have an offer for Mr. Malone?
One moment, Judge. Offered being adjudication, time served.
All right, Mr. Malone, the offer is adjudication and time served. Do you wish to
I
resolve?
accept.
Okay. What plea do you wish to enter, sir?
No contest, Your Honor.
All right, I accept your no contest plea and your sentence is adjudication and time served. Good luck. Brett Anderson.
Mr. Anderson is approaching, Judge.
Mr. Anderson, you're before the court for a KPS on a petty theft charge. I do find probable cause.
And Judge, in speaking to Mr. Anderson earlier today, he also wishes to resolve this matter today.
All right. Can we resolve this case today, State?
One moment, Judge. It would be an adjudication time served.
All right, Mr. Anderson?
The state's offer, Judge.
Mr. Anderson, what plea do you wish to enter?
I wish to.
No contest?
No contest.
All right, I accept your no contest plea and your sentence is adjudication and time served. Good luck. Lonnie Lowry.
Come on up, sir. He's approaching, Judge.
Mr. Lowry, you're before the court. You have 5 misdemeanor capious counts, resisting without violence, possession of drug paraphernalia, obstruction of traffic, trespassing. So I do find probable cause. Mr. Lowry does have court tomorrow, so I will send him to his division judge to resolve his case, if that's what he wishes.
He wishes to see if the state has a plea offer.
No, Your Honor, I agree with the court. With this many different cases, I think it's best that he go before his judge tomorrow.
Okay. Robert Bruno.
Mr. Bruno, I've been advised bonded, Judge.
Okay.
Sign on the yellow line. Yeah.
Alexander LeBron.
Bonded, Judge.
The deputy gave me this paper that says Terrence Smith. Is there an attorney here? Who signed in? This is not even a sign-in sheet. Okay. So, all right.
He's got the public defender on his case.
Right, he has family here, and he has a court date tomorrow morning at 8:30 in front
All
of
right,
Judge
can we call
McCarthy.
Terrence Smith? That's on page 21.
Terrence Smith, come on up, please. He's approaching, Judge.
All right, Mr. Smith, you're before the court on possession of cannabis 20 grams or less. And then count 2 is a felony capious matter. It's a no bond hold and it's not for magistrate. So I do find probable cause. He goes to his felony division judge tomorrow at 8:30. So the bond on count 1 is $100, and then because of the no bond hold, he has to go to his division judge. Okay? And I apologize for the delay, but you should have signed in so that we know that you're waiting. Okay? All right, good luck. All right, Michael Cade.
Medical reset.
All right. Delvin Nash.
Paul Ryan, I believe, Judge.
I think he's probably in court.
So Nash is in court?
He has a calendar call.
All right.
Your Honor, would the court please ask the clerk to delete his status for tomorrow? He doesn't need a status tomorrow in front of Judge Merrigan. He's got a calendar call today. Matter of fact, in Odyssey, it reflects that he's going to be arraigned on this charge at the time of his calendar call.
Okay.
And I think the court knows my concern that if we leave that status in place, when we come back tomorrow, we'll be told he's in court tomorrow.
All right. So, Madam Clerk, on Delvin Nash, he has court when? I know he is at a status tomorrow, but he's in court when again?
So he's there this morning.
He's there this morning?
Yes, for
okay.
count, yes.
All right, okay. Keith Williams?
Medical reset.
All right. Roy Barnes?
Mr. Barnes is here at main, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Barnes, you are before the court for, these are additional charges. Count 8 is carrying a concealed firearm, and 9 carrying a concealed firearm. I'm assuming Mr. Barnes is in custody on other matters?
He has a no bond hold on count 7.
He does what?
A no bond hold on a VOP on count 7.
Okay. All right, so I find probable cause, and then the bonds are $1,000 each count. Good luck, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Simi Worthy.
Mr. Worthy is approaching, Judge.
Mr. Worthy is before the court. Count one is possession of weapon or ammo by a delinquent adult felon. Count two's selling or misbranding in lieu of a scheduled drug. Count three is same, selling or misbranding in lieu of a scheduled drug. Count four is grand theft of firearm, and I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, considering he's got a active hold by the Federal Bureau of Prisons, I'd be requesting a $5,000 bond on count one.
Judge, I'm going to be requesting, considering what Mr. Lender just said, $1,000 on count one.
All right, as to count one, I'll impose a $2,500 bond, and the other standard bonds will remain in place. Sheldon Brewer.
Mr. Brewer is approaching, Judge. He's here. Come on up, sir.
Mr. Brewer, you are before the court. Count one is battery on a person 65 years or older. This is the previous.
Yes.
I do find probable cause. Anyone wish to be heard as to Mr. Brewer?
Your Honor, I have no argument that you shouldn't release him on the same conditions that you released his wife / co-arrestee.
She was on pretrial supervision.
Or pretrial or victim contact, yes.
All right, Mr. Brewer, if I do find probable cause, I'll release you on pretrial supervision. Good luck, sir.
Your Honor, we just asked for no victim contact also.
And I told your wife before, sir, I think no victim contact. And oftentimes, all right. No, it's okay. Oftentimes that means no phone call. It means that somebody may have to move out from where they reside, but just so you understand that you have to no contact with this person until further order of the court, okay?
Oh, man.
All right, good luck, sir.
Good.
Ahmad Gully.
He's approaching, Judge.
All right, sir, you are before the court. It's possession of cannabis 20 grams or less. Count two is leaving a vehicle unattended while the engine is running. That's not for magistrate. And count three, it's a violation of your felony probation. That's a no bond hold. So I do find probable cause. You will be before your division judge tomorrow at 8:30. The bond on count one is $100. Good luck. Garrett Beckvermit.
He's approaching, Judge, here at me.
All right, I do, sir, you're before the court on count one is battery on an officer, firefighter, EMT. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, I'd be requesting a $2,500 bond. The allegation is he struck the investigating officer with a closed fist to the left portion of the officer's face.
Judge, we're not off. I'm requesting $1,000. My understanding is this is his first time being arrested in his life. He's a registered voter here in our community. He was born here, grew up here, is 28, graduated Pompano Beach High School class of 2018. His father is going to be posting his bond. My understanding is his father works cleaning pools. So that's why I'm requesting $1,000 bond on his behalf, Judge.
Does Mr. Beckermith have priors? Any priors?
He's not on my list. Michelle, do you have anything?
All right, so Mr. Beckermith, your bond will be $1,000, sir. Good luck. Paul Senat.
Mr. Senat is approaching, Judge. Mr. Reedy, I'm going to need I'm sorry, Judge. Could I request a photo order on Mr. Beckermith?
Okay.
I forgot.
All right.
Yeah, it kind of looked like he needed one.
All right. Mr. Senat, you are before the court. Count 1 is a trespassing, occupied structure or conveyance. Count 2 is a hold for U.S. Marshal's office. It's a no bond hold and not for magistrate. I do find probable cause. So your bond on count 1 is $100. And then you've got the U.S. Marshal's hold. Good luck, sir. Kenneth Edelin.
Mr. Edelin, please.
Mr. Edelin, you're before the court. Burglary, unoccupied conveyance, unarmed. I do find probable cause.
Do you have anything outside of Broward on him? Do you have anything outside of Broward on him? No, that could probably go to DD though. Your Honor, I'd be requesting a $2,000 bond, no victim contact, no return. Out of, we're out.
Judge, I just asked him as far as if he thinks he can come up with $2,000. He said he doesn't think so. That's why I was initially gonna ask for $1,000, and that's what I'm asking at this time. He works for a company called Elite Aluminum. Been there for 5 years, making about $12 an hour. His mom is the person he's going to be relying on to post his bond. From my understanding, unfortunately, she's going through a lot. She's going through chemotherapy, and she gets disability. So she's going to be the one posting his bond. So that's why I'm asking for a $1,000 bond on his behalf.
All right. I find probable cause. The bond is going to be $2,000. Good luck, sir. David Velez Guzman.
He's approaching,
What's
Judge.
that? It's a burglary. Yeah. Mr. Guzman, you're before the court for 1 count of grand theft auto, count 2 is loitering or prowling, and count 3 is resisting without violence. I find probable cause.
Judge, my understanding is this is Mr. Guzman's first contact with the criminal justice system. He's 19 years old. He's going to be enrolling in technical college this week. So if the state can verify that he has no prior contact, we're asking for an ROR. If not, then we're just going to ask you to leave the bond the same, and I'm going to be contacting his mother to post his bond.
I show no history, Judge.
All right. I believe I'm inclined to put Mr. Guzman on pretrial supervision, but I believe that you asked instead for the bond to remain in place.
Yes, Judge.
All right. So the bond is $1,000.
Thank you, Judge.
Charles Hawkins.
Good? Yep. Mr. Hawkins, come on up, please.
Mr. Hawkins is before the court. Count 1 is possession of weapon or ammo by a convicted felon. Count 2 is operating motor vehicle with expired license. Count 3 is a parole violation. I do find probable cause. Mr. Hawkins.
Judge, considering as a parole violation, I'm asking for a $1,000 bond on count 1.
All right, Mr. Hawkins will be going before the parole board on the parole violation. Does the state wish to be heard?
I was going to be requesting a $2,500 bond based on the circumstances.
Okay. On count 1, I'll impose a bond of $1,000. Good luck, sir. Salvatore Bertone.
Come on up, sir. He's approaching, Judge.
All right, sir, you are before the court for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, I'm going to request a $7,500 bond, no victim contact, no return. My concern isn't just the actual threat made while in possession of the imitation Swiss Army knife. He made a verbal threat to slit the victim's throat and return later to burn down his business. Mr. Bertone, as far as what I can tell from Broward, 2012, felony theft and physically resisting a merchant, trespass 2011, trespass 2010, trespass 09, corruption by threat against public servant, resisting without violence and loitering and prowling 08, theft 08, grand theft 07, trespass 07, resisting without violence 06, resisting with violence 97, nothing further.
Judge, in speaking Mr. Bertone, he's looking forward to having his day in court. He's contesting these allegations. Judge, he does have a record, but as you heard, he's been clean for a couple of years now. He works at a labor pool. Unfortunately, Judge, he is homeless. He's financially indigent. However, he does have a mailing address where he can get future court correspondence, and it would be in Oakland Park of a soup kitchen to make sure that he comes here to court. But unfortunately, Mr. Bertone cannot afford any sort of monetary bond, Judge.
All right, I'm imposing a bond of $5,000 and no victim contact. Joseph Bendahan.
He's approaching, Judge.
Hi,
Sir, you're before the court for one count of petty theft. I do find probable cause. Do we know Mr. Bendahan wish to do?
Judge, he's unfortunately can't afford the $750. He's 38 years old, been living here over 15 years. From what he's advised me, it's been a couple of years since, or a year since he's had any contact with the criminal justice system. At this time, he's looking for work. He's not employed at this time. A friend of him is helping him out, and he's been living with his friend in Pompano Beach for the past about 2 months. Judge, my understanding is this was allegedly occurred at Walmart, in which the merchandise was recovered. He cooperated with law enforcement and loss prevention office, is what he advised me. Judge, we're asking the court to consider releasing Mr. Bendenham on pretrial release.
As far as his cooperation, he was apprehended outside with the stolen property on his person. I don't know that they needed his cooperation that much. My concern is I just see an at-large address residence here on the booking.
Does he have priors? How old are those? All right, I'll release Mr. Bendahan to pretrial supervision. Dean Torin.
Mr. Torrin, correct? Yeah. He's approaching, Judge.
All right, Mr. Torin, you're before the court for a violation of parole. That's a no bond hold, and you should be going before the parole board shortly, okay? Good luck, sir. Camden Sprague.
Mr. Sprague is approaching, Judge. Come on. And he declined the services of public defender.
Mr. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Sprague. Sir, do you have a private attorney?
I'll be getting one, yes, ma'am.
All right, so you are before the court today. Counts 1 and 2 is battery on an officer. Count 3 is resisting officer without violence. And count 4 is resisting officer with violence.
I don't understand all the charges, Your Honor. What was the original charge for my arrest?
What do you mean, what was the original charge?
What was I under arrest for to be arrested in the first place?
Well, it looks like that's something you're going to discuss with your attorney once you hire that person. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
I don't really see any probable cause, but I guess you'll decide that.
All right. Well, I've decided, and I do find probable cause, so let's talk about bond.
Okay.
How much bond can you afford?
Right now, I'm kind of in a hard place right now. Work's been low for me last year, and it's kind of slow this year. But, I mean, as low as you can do would be most appreciative.
Okay.
I don't know what the usual is for this kind of charge, ma'am.
All right. Okay, I'll hear from the state.
looks like it looks like he was arrested in 2017 for a battery against the party that was involved in this matter that law enforcement was called to investigate an allegation of a domestic dispute. Noting that
Violence or dispute was not one of the charges, sir.
going forward, Your Honor, noting the level of violence alleged in this report by Mr. Sprague, I would be requesting a $2,500 bond on counts 1 and 2, a $1,000 bond on count 4.
That's 25 for each count, sir. 2,500 each count of the battery, and then you said what was the other one? Oh,
And then 1,000 on count 4.
that would be a total of 350, correct? Or would that be 600?
Oh, you're talking about your 10%. Okay.
I can handle that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, I'll impose a bond of $2,500 on count 1 and 2. Count 3 is $100, and count 4 is $1,000. All right, good luck, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Go back and sit down.
Mr. Shade, are you here on who? Mingo? Okay. Do we have Darwin Mingo?
Mr. Mingo is in North Broward, Judge.
He's a medical research, Your Honor.
Okay.
Lovely hanging out, Judge. Lovely.
Sorry, Mr. Shade.
That's okay. I remember this one. Take care.
All right, good luck. Michael Avila.
He's approaching Judge here, Maine.
All right, Mr. Avila, you're before the court. Count 1 is possession of a weapon or ammo by a convicted felon, and count 2 is a traffic capias matter. I do find probable cause.
Judge, I'm going to be asking for a $1,000 bond on count 1. Mr. Avila is collecting disability. He has $750 per month. He lives with his stepmother in Miramar, and my understanding is she's also on disability. Now, his wife is a person that's going to be probably taking on the responsibility of posting his bond, and she works part-time at Walmart. He believes if the court were to set a $1,000 bond, that's something that maybe his wife can afford.
And Your Honor, State would object. First, one of the reasons he's here is because he failed to appear in court. He just got off probation last year on a 2014 credit card forgery, grand theft, unlawful use of false name ID, possession of more than one valid driver's license. 2011, discharging a firearm from a vehicle. He violated probation, was sentenced to 364 days in county jail. 03, 2 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm, 1 count of shooting at or throwing a deadly missile. So he's got 2 cases in his past where there was unlawful use of a firearm. Just got off probation last, so I'd be asking $5,000.
All right. As to count 1, the bond is $5,000, and count 2, it's $500. Good luck, sir. Jabari Dale.
He's approaching Judge here at Maine.
Good morning, ma'am. All right, Mr. Dale is before the court for burglary with assault or battery. 1 count. I do find probable cause. Ma'am, where are you? Can't hear anything you're saying. There's a microphone right there, if you can use it.
Just asking the court in consideration because he's the only provider for the 4 kids. That's the only way they get to school. He's that's where they live with him as well, and they didn't have anywhere and anyhow to get to school this morning.
How are you related to Mr. Dale?
My husband.
So why couldn't you take him to school today?
I don't have a ride, and I just had a C-section.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
And, Your Honor, I'm sorry to hear that, but I believe there are overriding concerns. I'm going to be seeking a no bond hold upon the finding of proof evident or presumption great. I would note the allegations satisfy the elements of a burglary with a battery. While this did occur in a vehicle, it appears there are domestic overtones to this matter. I would note there is a witness to the incident, the victim's son, and my concern is his presence was necessary to get Mr. Dale off of his mother as he was continuing to strike her in the face. He caused nails from her middle and ring finger to break off from striking her. If he wasn't there, I don't know how far this would have gone. I would note he's been arrested 3 times in the past, and this is why I'm asking for a no bond hold. And I believe the safety concern for the victim is the overriding concern in this matter. He's been arrested 3 times in the past for a domestic violence battery against this victim. Once he went through diversion, the other 2 times were dropped, all out of Dade County.
So is this lady the alleged victim?
Yes, I am. And I just want to make that clear. My son, he wasn't there when the incident happened. He was in the back of the trunk putting his school stuff in the car. And that's the reason why the incident stopped, because he came in the car, my son, at the time, and then he stopped.
Judge, I would think that a cooling off period, a no contact order would be appropriate. We would object to the court making a finding of proof evident presumption great and holding Mr. Dale no bond at this point. I understand what Mr. Linder is saying. I appreciate the court's concerns, and I also appreciate what this young lady is saying. Proof evident presumption grade's the highest standard that we have. To hold him without the possibility of posting bond based on what's before this court right now, I do not believe would be appropriate. I would ask the court to listen to what Mr. Romero has to say about Mr. Dale's ties to the community and financial wherewithal, and I'd ask the court to set bond for him.
Your Honor, I'm not sure what's going on here because I'm reading the last sentence of the first page going to the second page. What I do know is what the allegations are in this report. And frankly, and this is, my safety concerns for this woman, even if she doesn't have the same safety concerns for herself. We have a defendant that, and I'm going by the booking sheet and the PC affidavit, that is somewhere between 6 foot and 6'2", 240, 260 pounds. Regardless of what he witnessed, it took a school-age juvenile to pull this man off of her from the back seat. You can see her size here. There have been arrests 3 times in the past for him attacking her. Some other arrangements that I'm sure if the county's contacted, something can be figured out. There's buses. I mean, I don't.
Your Honor, I have a newborn baby, and I can't take the bus with 4 kids, or 5 actually, because we do have 5 children.
I wasn't suggesting she take the bus. I believe school buses are provided.
Not in the area that I live.
No.
And as I stated, they live with him, so right now I don't even know what to do. And we're not living together, me and him, so I don't have any fear in towards me and him, because if that was the case, he could have come to my house to do something if I'm in danger or threatened by him.
And now we're hearing that she has a newborn child, and this still happened. Even greater concern.
Okay. Is there something else you want to say, ma'am? Okay.
So we have 4 children together.
Okay. So you have 4 children together. Your newest child is not, he's not the father. Okay. All right.
Judge, as you heard, Mr. Dale, he's the primary financial breadwinner of the family. He helps support financially the whole entire family. Now they do live apart. He lives in Miami. He's 32 years old. He works for a paint refinishing company where he's been employed there for the past 12 years. He makes about $22 an hour, but all of his paycheck goes towards rent and providing for his family. So at the end of the day, there's not much left over. So Judge, considering that the victim is here asking, I don't think she doesn't want the court to impose a no bond hold. She wants Mr. Dale to be out. It does not appear that she's in fear. I'm going to be asking you for reasonable release conditions on Mr. Dale's behalf.
How did you know that there was court this morning?
See how I can help. And
You called to see how you could help?
Yes.
You called who?
The bail's bond man, and he told me that he had court this morning.
Okay. So is it your intention to post his bond?
Yes, ma'am.
And you live in the same city as he does, or
I
no?
live in Miramar. He lives in Miami Gardens, so no.
Okay. Was it you who called 911?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. These situations are, there's always difficult, and it's always difficult to make a decision, but you're here standing before the court. And, but 2 days ago, based on these allegations, or yesterday, it wasn't 2 days ago, there was a situation and you called 911, and based on what's in the report, that's what I have to go by. And I am not.
So can you either even grant something like just to stay away, even if he has bond or something?
Oh well, I'm gonna impose a stay away. Based on what I've heard here this morning, I'm not gonna make a finding of proof evident presumption great, but I will impose a bond. And I don't know if anyone else wants to hear further in regards to the bond. All right.
Judge, my understanding is, and Mr. Dale, like I said, his financial resources are all used up, but if they go through a bondsman, he believes maybe they can come up with $500. So I'm going to be asking for $5,000 and all the conditions as far as no contact, he will adhere to it.
Your Honor, the only thing I would say is, and I'm not trying to make light of it, it's just if his resources are truly as limited as Mr. Romero is representing, then perhaps leasing a 2015 Lexus isn't the way to go.
All right, finding probable cause, I am going to impose a bond of $50,000 and no victim contact until further order of the court.
And Your Honor, the state, in light of the prior arrest, the state would be requesting a GPS monitor.
With the GPS. GPS level 2? Yes. Thank you. All right, good luck, ma'am. Robert Davis.
North Broward, I believe. Reset. Medical reset.
Okay.
Your
Barry.
Honor, I'm sorry. Is it possible? He's been medically reset a few times. It's a parole hold. There's really nothing. Yeah.
No. All right. You don't have to bring. He'll go before the parole board and I'll find probable cause. Barry Williams.
Medical reset also.
And Your Honor, I asked if the court,
He was from the weekend.
I think it was originated on, maybe on Friday, and then carried over to the weekend? Or maybe
It looks
not.
like, no, it looks like it was Saturday and Sunday.
So I would ask, since this would be a third reset, if the court can make a PC determination.
No problem.
Could you do me a favor?
So, Mr. Williams, I do make a finding of probable cause. He needs to be brought back for bond purposes. Renee Sopon,
He's here in Maine, Judge. Come on up, sir.
all right, Mr. Sopon is before the court, grand theft, possession of drug paraphernalia, resisting officer without violence. And I do find probable cause.
Judge, in speaking with this gentleman, he gave me the phone number of his father. I intend on calling him after court to post his bond.
All right, his bond is $1,000. Good luck, sir.
Good luck, sir. Good luck.
All right,
I'll call him right when I get out of here.
I believe we're at the end of our docket, and we'll be on for the afternoon at 1 p.m.
Thanks, Judge.